like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh my God.
Because like we've asked so many people for help, and like also help them in return as well. But, when we didn't know how to climb on the wall. We didn't know how to jug. We didn't know how to put ropes up and, carry our cameras. So we asked the people that were around us what they knew or like how to get connected to people that knew how to do it. And there's been so many people along the way that have helped us. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Hey, y'all. I'm back. I know it has been quite some time that you've heard me on this feed, but the original version of Texas Film in Focus was intended to be a 12-part limited series. So I had every intention of finishing it and, hanging up my hat with that kind of content after its completion, which was in summer of 2021. But I think in doing some, I don't want to say soul searching because it wasn't even really that serious, but the last couple of years have been a lot. I've been reevaluating the kind of stuff I want to be creating. And I think that really impacted the direction of what I was doing here. So I had every intention of restarting a different podcast. That didn't end up happening for various reasons. But the more I thought about the kind of stuff I want to be creating, it all led me back to film and media. So if y'all have been following me for a while, since the original version of Texas Film in Focus or the Whiffed Austin podcast or the TIFF Voices podcast, which is the show that I did with the Hanas in Film co-founders, Chelsea Hernandez and Sharon Arteaga, all I do is talk about film. And Texas film is a particularly special passion of mine in terms of covering it and diving into it and making sure that the rest of the world understands how special Texas is from a film and TV and media perspective. So here I am. I'm resurrecting this project and giving it some new life. I'm evaluating as we go what makes sense for me, what makes sense for the show. So it's going to look a little bit different than before. But what I can tell you is that it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We're going to have lots of really cool people on the show. So I'm so excited for y'all to see or hear what is coming down the pike. Is it pipe or is it pike? I don't know. I'm just now realizing that. Okay, there's going to be a lot of that. That's going to happen. Anyway, so TFIF, that's the acronym, is coming back. And I'm now in a scenario that's kind of put some fire under my ass. So this first episode is very timely because my guests, Hannah Zamora and Bex Rodriguez, are currently crowdfunding on Seed and Spark. So I wanted to put this episode together to really highlight the work that they're doing, hopefully help them reach their goal, and also dive into this very niche space that they're in. It's climbing media and, very male dominated. So these folks are doing some really cool stuff. And I think y'all are really going to like this interview. So y'all are going to hear me kind of fangirl out a little bit because I have been following them for a while and I'm just so interested in what they do. If y'all follow them on Instagram, y'all will see the kind of imagery that they are posting. So for me, it's a really exciting thing to see these two collaborators working together in such an interesting way, obviously visually exciting, but also from a perspective of badass women creating media. So like I said, y'all are going to love this. So yeah, let's just dive into the interview and let me give you their bios first and then we'll do that. So, all right. Bex Rodriguez is a cinematographer and director based in Austin, Texas. As a full-time freelancer since 2013, Bex has worked on narrative, films, TV, documentaries, commercials, and music videos. Her background and passion lies in documentary. She has worked as a DP for Hulu, NPR, AT&T, and most recently HBO. Her work has taken her to the peak of La Popa in Mexico and the dunes of the Sahara Desert. She's shot rock climbing athletes for La Sportiva, Black Diamond, and RAB. Soul to Soul is Bex's first doc feature, which is currently in post-production. Hannah Zamora is a filmmaker and photographer based in Austin, Texas. Documentaries and narratives are her favorite. Recently, she's dedicated considerable time to adventure film and photography, primarily in the sports realm of rock climbing. She has worked with Patagonia, Black Diamond, and RAB. From South Korea to Indian Creek in Mexico, she is ready for the next big adventure. Without further ado, here are Hannah and Bex. I'm so excited to talk to you two today because not only are you guys kind of at this really cool point in your careers in terms of, creating this really cool project that you're fundraising for, which we'll talk more about. But you've got kind of a long history of working together on these really cool, like adventure-y type of shoots and films and things. So I want to first start talking to each of you about how you got here and then how you found each other. Who wants to start?
Okay. Well, I've been a filmmaker since I graduated UT. I went to school for photojournalism, decided that I wanted to pursue documentary filmmaking, and graduated in 2013, and then kind of like worked on a variety of different projects from narrative, music videos, and docs. And it wasn't until a little bit before the pandemic that I realized that I just really wanted to work on big documentaries and just really explore that as a director and as a DP. And right about that time, it was maybe like 2017, 18, I started rock climbing. And I just fell in love with it. That was like the only thing that I wanted to do besides film.
So rock climbing, like inside, outside, all of the above, all kinds of rocks?
I started inside, like bouldering, and quickly went outdoors and like got to explore like all of Austin's climbing areas, which are super easy to get to and like super accessible. And yeah, I just fell in love with the outdoors and like rock climbing and lead climbing and that whole world. And that was when Free Solo had just come out too. So, I didn't even realize that climbing and film together were like a possibility until then. And I just really wanted to try it. And it kind of just lined up with like me meeting Hannah because we were still kind of newish at climbing too. And we really just wanted to do a climbing film after that.
Okay, so 2018 is when y'all met, and then y'all just kind of were like, let's do this film. And then I've been kind of working on this ever since then. Cool. Okay, so let's put a pin in that and let's hear your side of the story, Hannah.
Yeah. So I went to school in North Texas for fine art photography, did a couple semesters. And
UNT?
Yes. Yeah, University of North Texas. And did a couple semesters and didn't really find my people. And so I felt really discouraged. And there was this whole thing with my financial aid tied up that discouraged me even further. So I dropped out and just like started traveling. So still loved being behind a camera. And after my extent of nomadic traveling in my 20s, I was looking for something to root me, to ground me. And I had a mutual friend that just happened to be in the film industry. And I was like, hey, that schedule sounds great. Like, I like films. I like cameras still. And so she plugged me into a film feature, 2018, which was my first film job as a camera PA. And the camera team was a revolving door because the film was low budget. Everyone wanted to go work on commercials each week. And so that means like a day player would come in, and Bex was one of those people one of the days. And she was wearing a Crux beanie, which is a local climbing gym here.
Oh, this one?
The one that's on the table. And I was like...
This is not sponsored, but it can be. Crux, reach out.
Yes, please, Crux. We've reached out a couple times.
So she was wearing a Crux beanie, which is a local climbing gym. And I was like, hey, do you climb? Like, I also climb, and I'm like new to filmmaking and I'm new to Austin. Like, I would love to hang out. And so we just connected after that. And the climbing community is really small, and people take big trips in the fall. And so some of my friends were talking about how they were going to take a big trip to South Korea. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Tell me more. And they told us about Angela Lee, who's the subject of our film, and just like who she is, why she's going to South Korea. And I was just like, I want to go and I want to film it. I don't know what I'm going to film, but I want to do it. And I ran into Bex at was it Third Eye Blind?
Yes, it was Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind, because ACL was that weekend. I ran into Bex at ACL at a Third Eye Blind concert, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to South Korea and film like a climbing documentary? And she was like, yes. I did not expect her to say that at all.
This sounds so magical. It's like you met each other through this really like fun thing, and then you're just like, hey, in the magic of ACL, let's take an international trip that's going to change our life.
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, we have to leave in 3 weeks. There's no money. I've never even met this person. And Bex was not scared at all. I thought for sure she would just be like, oh, you're just wishful thinking.
Why did you say yes?
Well, the way that Hannah pitched it to me, she was like, Angela is a steward in her community in Colorado. She's a rock climber. She's a really fast learning rock climber. She's in the trad rock climbing arena, which is, I would say, the hardest type of climbing there is.
Yeah,
because you have to like, there's not like pre-placed bolts along the routes that she's climbing, but she has to put in her own protection of like gear as she goes along.
So she's just scaling the rocks by herself without any
with gear that she has
and plus gear, and
mm-hmm.
she has to just
and on top of
just
that,
listening to this is bringing my anxiety. Like my heart is beating. Like I don't even. Oh my god, I am not an outside person, and this is so interesting. Okay, keep going.
And not only that, but she's in the crack climbing, into crack climbing, which you have to jam your hands in there and also your fingers and
it's
do these like crazy moves called like chicken wings, and
it's painful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She had only been climbing for 3 years and she was already leading multi-pitch trad routes that scale from like 500 feet to 1,000, and we were just like blown away. And on top of that, she had just recently graduated from law school and passed the bar, and she's living in rural Colorado on a farm, like fully running a farm with her partner. And we were just like, who is this person? We need to meet her now.
Mm-hmm. And on top of like running an organization in the San Luis Valley that like rebolts routes and like cleans up areas and like does like community events. Mm-hmm. So she's just like an overall well-rounded human being. And
complete
like,
badass.
Complete badass.
Oh my god. So this documentary is all about her.
Yes.
And it's called Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul.
Which SOUL and SEOOU.
SOL to SEOUL. So Seoul Mountain Farm is the farm that she's at. Mm-hmm. And then Seoul, South Korea. Where
That's
she's
beautiful.
from.
I love that. I was like soul, like your soul, but I'm sure.
But also.
Yeah.
It like kind of works. Like we like the play on words. And we actually had this conversation about what we were going to call it when we were on our way to Colorado. And Soul to Soul came up almost immediately. And we were like, it kind of sounds great. Like it's, I don't know, without really even knowing what the film was in retrospect, but like looking back, I'm like, that was totally it.
Tell me about the film. So, of course, documentary about this person, but give me kind of the log line here and like what makes this unique here. What are y'all looking for in following this person around?
So the movie's about Angela creating a community after her sense of belonging at her farm has been kind of shaken through, multiple reasons, including like some racial issues and some like hate from the community. And Angela goes to South Korea to like reconnect with her heritage and kind of figure out, how she can come back to Colorado and like create a sense of community and like a sense of identity.
Soul to Soul is about Angela Lee's journey with cultural reconciliation and self-acceptance. Like, I think a big part of what we were drawn to her was her vulnerability and openness about her specific journey almost right away. Like as soon as we pulled up, she was just like, this is who I am. This is what I don't know about myself. And it's really hard and I'm trying. And I think her story is so relatable because we're all just trying to find happiness. And the way that she found it just countered all of her original beliefs in such a foundational way. And she just goes through this process of like slowly rebuilding that trust within herself and then building a community for others to gather and share those affinity spaces. And it's so beautiful to watch and also just like to share in, because even though we were behind the camera for all of it, we got to experience a lot of what she has cultivated and has totally impacted our life in positive ways.
I am so jealous. I, followed y'all on Instagram for a while now, and tell me if this was a fever dream that I had. Were you guys camping on the side of a mountain in like a floating tent or something? Tell me about that.
This was a different job.
Okay.
So we've gotten a couple of jobs after we started Soul to Soul filming because the community's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this
through,
niche filmmaking is so niche.
Yeah. So through like word of mouth, we got to work on like a project in Austin for Black Diamond with the Texas Lady Crushers, which is an organization here in Austin run by Emily Hernandez. She's amazing. Another badass in the community. And then through that project, we got connected to Saf Cummings, who's a North Face photographer. She's amazing. And she was like, I'm going to Mexico to film this documentary about these two lady crushers, like climbing this huge mountain out there. Do you want to come?
It's funny because she wasn't even there. Like our time didn't really even overlap. She just like gave us the drop pin and all the information and a shot list, of course, of how to get out there. Because we lost cell service after the first hour of driving, and then it was like 2 hours of driving, and then at least another 2 or 3 hours of hiking till we got to the drop pin. It was
oh my God.
quite insane. And so the area was really remote.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to access the bottom of the cliff was from the top. So we walked around the backside of the top, so the summit, and then we did what is called rappelling in. So we rappelled down like 1,000 feet with all of our supplies and camera gear in bags attached to our ropes or our harness. And then we stayed at the bottom of the cliff like 3 nights. And that was so beautiful, Sam. Like one of the most beautiful experiences, because you're just laying there in your little bivvy and you're looking at the clouds just like pass over these like gorgeous stars. And of course the striking wall itself. It's just like, how am I here right now?
Oh my
we
God.
were like
I just got
above the
chills.
clouds.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we were
above the clouds. And okay, so the climbing film is called El Gavilan. And it's this badass climbing duo, Bronwyn Hudgens and Kelsey Waters. And it's the first female ascent of El Gavilan, which is a 513A grade
What does that mean?
route.
Tell me what that
It's
means.
a very, very hard route to climb that only a couple of people have been able to climb. We're talking about El Gavilan, the movie and the route. It was established by Jeff Jackson, and Alex Honnold was one of the other climbers that was able to climb this. And then the movie El Gavilan, which was directed by Saf Cummings.
Yeah, including Alex Honnold and a few other professional climbers. Like
El Jefe.
El Jefe.
Wow.
Brad Jackson, who's actually a local legend from Austin, Texas. So Soul to Soul has really broadened our horizons. Like as soon as we had that experience under our belt, it was just like doors were opening with other people that were doing similar things.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like, okay, yeah, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's amazing. So y'all were kind of part of this community. We're able to network to find more work after Soul to Soul. It's not even after Soul to Soul. So y'all Seed and Spark campaign is now, it's like going now. How's it going? And tell me more about the campaign.
So the campaign is going really well. Tomorrow will be 1 week since we launched.
Okay.
And we're already at 70% towards our goal.
What? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Completely didn't expect that. Our community has really shown up. As far as something beyond a monetary goal, we really want to diversify climbing media because there's just so many different types of people that are climbing that deserve to be recognized. And also it provides spaces for marginalized groups to believe that they can also step into these spaces, that they are welcome to step into these spaces, and that there are programs out there that like empower them to learn this sport, because it is difficult and it's risky and it's dangerous and it can be expensive to get into.
Mhm.
And so it's just a lot. There's a lot of barriers. And so I think Angela is a great voice to uplift, to show everyone that like you can do this too.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool. So y'all are just like, y'all have found your little niche in these like adventure shoots and just taking all your gear. How has that, like being in that space, being in that niche, changed the way that you kind of approach your work?
I just want to have adventure in every type of work that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm always like searching for that.
There's
And
like no
also-
turning back now.
There's no turning back. I want more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the stakes have like gotten higher now just because I'm like, oh, I've like climbed these mountains and I've taken my cameras. Like let's go to the next project. Let's go to the next project and see what happens. But I think overall, like I'm really stoked like to have been like part of these experiences because they've really like shaped the way I am now too as a filmmaker, and like how I approach projects in terms of like, you know, we don't always have to have like the nicest equipment. We don't always need like all the lighting. It just like it really depends on the type of project and like what you have in your hands and what you can bring. And, you know, there's some shots in El Gavilan that we used our phones because that's what we had in our hands. And we were wearing these like 100-pound backpacks and we couldn't reach in to get our cameras. And it made it into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the accessibility of whatever you have is really important and like really drives like what you can shoot.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that also speaks to like your ability as a filmmaker, right? It's like not about the gear. It's about like what you do with it or whatever the saying is. Not about the tool. It's how you use it. You know?
Right. Yeah. I would add on to that like, and I say this out loud for myself and anyone listening, but mainly for myself, that like, you don't have to know the ins and outs of everything before you start. It's so tempting to just be like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I don't know. I haven't done it. What if I fail? And this project has really shown me and us that like, just go and do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I needed to hear that. You're saying that from me too.
It's like, as long as you're not harming anyone, like the power is within you. You know, like you have everything you need to get started. And that's exactly how this film began. And it's a really important lesson to keep reminding myself of.
Like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh my God,
because like we've asked so many people for help, you know, and like also like help them in return as well. But, you know, when we didn't know how to climb on the wall. We didn't know how to jug. We didn't know how to put ropes up and, you know, carry our cameras. So we asked the people that were around us what they knew or like how to get connected to people that knew how to do it. And there's been so many people along the way that have helped us. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was just thinking about that. Like weeks before we left for Colorado, we were getting like a lesson from a friend that knew how to set up fixed lines and shoot from a fixed line, and just teaching us and sending us resources. And also the local camera rental place, MPS, really showed up for us. They provided a lot of gear that we took to South Korea. Really elevated production value.
So how long were y'all in South Korea?
We were in South Korea for 2 weeks.
Cool. Oh my God. I'm so excited to see this. So when does the campaign end?
The campaign will end on Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day. Way to give thanks.
I know. It's a season of giving.
Yeah. And if you hit your goal ahead of time, y'all have a stretch goal, right?
Yes.
What is the stretch goal?
It'll be $10,000.
Cool. Okay. That's so exciting.
That will help pay for our sound mixer and composer.
Awesome.
And colorist.
Yeah.
And how long is it? Runtime wise?
Right now it's 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So it's like feature length.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's okay. So y'all shot it clearly, putting the story together. Did y'all do the editing too? What did that kind of whole thing look like?
We've had 4 editors.
Whoa. Well, I'm assuming, yeah, you've been kind of working on this for a long period of time, right? 2018, and then kind of started from there. 4 editors in that time.
I love all of them and what they've been able to do with the film and giving it to the next editor and help them get organized and then the next editor and so forth. But, because of lack of funding and also timing, sometimes our editors would get like full-time jobs and really good jobs and, would have to just.
Yeah, our editor experience has been very rewarding, and I'm so grateful for every contribution made from all of our editors. We started with Susan LaMarca, who's from Austin, lives in New York, and she really got us going. Then we have Allison Week is an amazing assistant editor that taught us what a paper edit was. And,
cool.
Trent, the subscription Trent, transcribes your interviews. And then we have Katrina DeVera, who was actually a coworker with Susan LaMarca years ago. And it's just coincidence that they ended up on our project. Andrew Ryan Shepard, who's a local director in town, cinematographer, really talented, fast human being. And he really elevated our project as well. He got a full-time gig that took him to Europe. Amazing.
We have Jackie Quensler,
who Bex went to UT with. And we ran into her.
Austin Asian American Film Festival, which Katrina was premiering her film with PJ Raval named Capua. So we got connected because Katrina and Jackie know each other and she vetted her and we were like, oh, I know Jackie too. Let's go, Jackie.
Cool. Oh my God. It seems like, man, the universe is really providing.
Really,
like it's like the best people.
It really has.
That's so cool. Okay, so this is a very random question that just popped in my head. The loss of gear. Did you lose anything out there? Any crazy, like we couldn't grab? I forgot. Because, you're in the elements, right? You're climbing, you're carrying. What have you lost?
I'm laughing because we almost lost the drone.
The drone.
Okay, I almost always lose a drone. Like,
what a flex, right?
I don't like.
I'm the one that loses a drone. No big deal.
I always get it back, so it's fine.
It's just misplaced for a little while.
Okay, so I didn't know how to fly a drone before we started this project. It was first time for a lot of things, including flying a drone. And I learned a little bit in Colorado while we were, shooting the first half of the film. And then when we got to Korea, we like hiked up this mountain and I was flying it around and getting Angela finishing this big multi-pitch climb. And I think I was like, I don't know, maybe like less than 15% on battery. And I was like, I'm going to keep shooting. It's fine. And then the drone, makes you like land like pretty soon after like it, the battery goes down. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know where it is. Like I need to land it right now, like on top of this mountain. But I was able to do it.
Oh my God, y'all got to put AirTag on that thing or something. Just get an AirTag. This is Bex's AirTag for the drone every time.
Yeah, we definitely should have. It was like we were in South Korea. We were at the top of like that mountain that you were saying. And we couldn't even see it. It was just like beeping. I think it even like disconnected at one point. And we were like, no. And you'll see it when you watch the film. It's like some of the most beautiful footage that we have. So I'm glad it stayed alive. But definitely a scary moment. But I don't think we lost anything else, honestly. We didn't drop anything.
Nice. Okay, good. Yeah.
Hannah taped a filter to the lens one time.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot the adapter to the front of the lens. that adapts the filter because it was really hot and sunny that day. And so I just taped it to the front of the window.
So now our shots just look like it's like a really wide angle, like old 90s. Like,
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to crop in a little bit.
What's funny is that the editor thought it was just a style that I was going for. It was like, that's great that you're giving me the benefit of the doubt, but no.
Like, work with what you have.
Work with what you got.
Oh my God. That's amazing. I'm so excited for y'all. But yeah, did we talk about what's next? What are y'all doing next?
No, we didn't.
That we should have a plan.
He's like, I don't know.
What? I have anxiety now.
Anxiety's next.
Yeah. The panic will set in. I'm assuming with the film, probably like a festival run. That's probably the next logical step. Figuring out distribution, maybe.
Yes, distribution.
Yeah, I think the next steps are once we have finished, we have the final film, film submissions to several outdoor film festivals in the United States.
And South by.
Oh man, I'm imagining like a projection somewhere on like the side of a mountain or something.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Right?
That's not in Austin.
Yeah.
Not here.
We're just like in the green belt on the side of them. It's all teeny tiny.
Yeah,
set up an iPad.
Enchanted Rock.
Yeah.
Exactly. And festival run. And then personally, yeah, we have a couple things in the works. Nothing that we've finalized just because so much of our efforts are going into the Seed and Spark right now and really just pushing to finish the film.
I'm working on directing a music video right now.
Oh, cool.
So I'm trying to get a little bit, more footing in the directing world to see, how much I want to go in, because I usually do DP work except for now Soul to Soul, which has been like a long-term project. So yeah, just trying to dip my feet into that right now.
Yeah. So are y'all listed as like co-directors on Soul to Soul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're the co-directors, co-DPs, co-producers,
co-crafty,
co-sound, co-transpo.
Yeah. We did have help from Morgan Bond in Korea.
Cool.
She runs a production company called Camlock Films.
Yeah, it was great to have her. She really, really helped out with logistics and communication and, carrying gear up a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which she will never do ever again. As she said.
What's next for me is also focusing on directing. This last year, I've really gotten into dance.
Ooh.
And there's this dance company in town called Oro. And I really want to do a dance music video for them and continue shooting in outdoor spaces also.
So for our listeners, how can they find you, follow you? How do they find the campaign?
You can find the campaign on our Instagram at Soul to Soul Film. Soul is SOLTOSEOULFILM. And there you can find our link tree, and that'll lead you directly to the Seed and Spark.
And our website. And there you can see our trailer and a little video of that Hannah and I did talking about the film. And, we shot it at Reimer's Ranch, hanging from some ropes.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely a different interview style than Talking Heads. I would say that any donation is welcome, or support of pledging or sharing or following is very...
just sharing what the film is about, tagging Angela and the farm, and all the organizations that have also supported us. And also in the Seed and Spark, you can claim a couple of things that the community has donated to us. Okay, so we want to thank our sponsors: No Man's Land, Austin Bouldering Project, MPS, Camlock Films, 24 Cobras, Access Fund, Texas Lady Crushers, American Alpine Club, Soul Mountain Farm, San Luis Valley Climbers Alliance, and Movement Gym.
Man, I'm going to watch so much of y'all's stuff. I'm so excited. Well, y'all are great. I'm so excited to see everything. Y'all are going to hit your goal. I know that. It's going to hit festivals. I know that. Y'all are going to be doing cool stuff. So I'm so excited for y'all. Keep doing what y'all are doing. Yeah. I think that's it.
Thank you so much for having us, Sam.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. And, I'm here anytime y'all want to come back, give updates. If you want to, dial in from the side of a mountain somewhere, I think that'd be cool too.
Just do a little Zoom call from the side.
Yeah. Aren't they awesome? I am so excited about this Seed and Spark campaign that they're putting on. Not only because they're like trying to get the money to fund the film, but also from the perspective of like really taking up space in the climbing world that has been traditionally male dominated and wasn't necessarily as inviting to people of color or women or LGBTQ plus people. So marginalized communities finding space is really exciting. And I think this documentary is going to be something to be on the lookout for. So highly encourage y'all to check out that Seed and Spark campaign. If you can't contribute, please share. There's a ton of really cool resources on that page too. So check that out. I'll be linking everything in the description and in my Instagram stories on the TFIF_podcast account. So you'll see that. I'll probably be sharing from my S. Ray Lopez account. So we're really trying to spread the word here, clearly, right? So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Again, I'm super excited about this next version of the Texas Film in Focus podcast. The best thing you can do for me right now is subscribe to the show so that you get the updates. We're going bi-weekly. So every other week, you'll get a new episode, hearing from new voices, potentially revisiting some folks from the previous version of TFIF and getting some updates from people after a couple of years. So follow the show, whether that's Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. The other thing too is if you have a few minutes, rate and review the show. That helps so much to get the show in front of the right people. So rate, review, and yeah, just kind of like follow along. As much as this show is really for me, I am the target audience. I create the show because I think it's interesting and I want this content out there for people, I guess. I do still want to know your opinions. So if there's anything that you want to hear me talk about, hear me cover, hear me interview, please let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can, find any which way to comment or add it in your review on Apple, whatever. Because I really want to make sure that I'm covering my bases. And I'm just kind of a naturally curious person. So I'm sure I'll bring some curiosity to that topic too. So let me know, rate, review, subscribe, whatever. I don't have any sponsors this show. There's no partnership. I think I should take this opportunity to shout out Hyperreal Film Club. They've been doing some amazing stuff in the past couple of years, and they are creating a lot of opportunities for people to come together and watch movies together and just be excited about movies. So we're no longer in a partnership with this podcast, but they were the ones who gave me the space, you believed in me that I could be able to do this in the first place. Want to continue to shout them out as much as possible too. So I appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for listening to the Texas Film in Focus podcast.